Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Barry Erickson, and I'm Community Engagement Coordinator at Wheaton Public Library. Tonight, we are delighted to bring you Picking Plant-Based. Healthier eating is best approached gradually with small changes. Tonight, we will learn why and how to make simple plant-based substitutions in our daily meals. Our speaker will provide tips to help you get started and share a delicious plant-based cheese recipe as well. Deepa Deshmukh is a registered dietitian and diabetes educator practicing functional and integrative nutrition. Deepa is also the host of a podcast, Ask Nutritionist Deepa. In 2020, Deepa was selected as one of the top 10 dietitians in the country by Today's Dietitian magazine, a leading publication in her industry. So with so much expertise and great information to share, I'm anxious to turn the screen over to you, Deepa. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much, Barry, for the invitation, and thank you everybody who is watching or will be watching after this seminar has been recorded and pass it on. So it's my pleasure to be in front of you today to discuss the importance of starting a journey of getting healthy and towards the wellness by picking plant-based lifestyle. It, the word plant-based has come to the surface in last 2 to 3 years, and more so in last 1 year, and it feels like it's something new, but really the roots are very ancient. Across the board, one diet that comes on top is always plant-based. There's nothing wrong when we decide to eat more plants. I mean, we just can't go wrong. So talking about this topic really excites me because I think it's so easy to do, but because of our busy lifestyles and sometime not knowing where to start, some people feel intimidated that, oh my God, how am I going to start the plant-based lifestyle or start my plant-based diets? And I want you guys to feel comfortable today that, you know, this is all about just starting, taking small steps and reaping the big rewards, really. So let's get started. Picking plant-based diet. Today we will talk about how to transition to sustaining plant-based lifestyle and why transitioning to plant-based and why transitioning to plant-based. These are, and of course, how to transition to plant-based. We will talk about it, and then please make sure you text me your name and email to 630-686-7300 to get your handouts on the topic. So how to transition to sustain lifestyle, plant-based lifestyle. The word sustaining is extremely important because there is everything that we can do, or there's anything we can do just for day, two, maybe a month, maybe a few months. But then after a while, things start to come up, real life hits, and then we all fall off the wagon. And that's why it's extremely important to understand that, understand how we can make sustaining change, because sustaining change is what we are looking for ultimate wellness. You know, if you want to live longer, that should not be just only quest, but to live longer, happier and healthier can happen only when we have sustaining strategy, I mean sustaining lifestyle and strategies in place to take us there. So let's first look at the rewards and how quickly our body responds. I mean, why even bother to go plant-based, right? Why should we even bother to eat more fruits and vegetables if we just want to start with something basic? Look at the rapid rewards. See how quickly your body responds. In one day, you have improved insulin sensitivity and slow release of carbohydrate, which is then going to give you more energy. All the chronic conditions, blood pressure, diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, obesity, overweight, even conditions like migraine or infertility are related to insulin uh, resistance. When we start eating uh, right kind of foods from the plant-based group, in some time, I mean, there's some research out there that shows that one meal which is all plant-based, in within 1 hour your insulin resistance starts to improve. So that's a rapid reward, right? Because even your medication sometimes takes few hours to kick in, but food can start exerting its beneficial effects very quickly. So within 1 day you will see an improved insulin sensitivity by slow release of carbohydrates. Within 2 to 3 days there's improved bowel movements, and gut microbiome starts to improve, and removal of toxins starts. This is a very important step when you are making a lifestyle change or going on any diet. But with plant-based diet, the diet hits you where it's supposed to, which is your gut, because gut health is the key to our overall wellness, because gut is where our immune system is. 80% of our immune system is in our gut. We have more neurons in our gut than we have them in our brain. So gut is where we the nutrients get metabolized, they get broken down, and they get absorbed. So if your gut environment is not where it needs to be, then your immunity is going to get affected, your hormonal balance is going to get affected. Just as a side note, uh, hormonal issues like thyroid, for example, thyroid health depends on your gut health. A lot of Many times people don't know that, but the conversion of thyroid from the inactive form to active form happens in gut. So once your gut starts to get better, and that can happen in as low as 2 to 3 days after you start eating more plants. And I'm not even saying that you have to be 100% plant based here. Even if you start eating 2 to 3 meals which are plant based, or without meat and high fats, your gut health is going to improve, and that then leads to improvement of your gut microbiome. And what happens is, by default, the plant-based diet is high in fiber, and when you have improved bowel movements, the toxins immediately start binding to this fiber and start coming out of us. So it's a natural detox. You don't even need any special detox pills or powders or drinks or any of that stuff. Within 1 week, there's improved cholesterol level and blood pressure, improved blood flow. Okay, people usually say that, you know what, they are feeling their extremities more now, or they say they're tingling in their feet and hands, and legs and feet has gone down. I have one patient, she used to have tingling in her, mm, on her skull, and that improved. I mean, she went through every MRI and CT scan, and one thing that helped her was plant-based diet, and that, I don't know why, but I think it has something to do with improved blood flow. In the second week, you start to have reduced cravings and improved satiety. Okay, like I said, just by default, the whole food plant-based diet is high in fiber, is high in nutrients, and that helps with reduced cravings and improved satiety. The third week, taste buds change. Okay, your body starts to come back to its senses, really. As your toxin load starts to come down, your taste buds open up, and the same Starbucks drink or donut or anything sweet or super salted or super fatty that at one time you used to enjoy, you are not enjoying it anymore, because your senses, your taste buds, your sense of smell has come down and is is looking for more cleaner taste. Within fourth week, mental clarity, improved energy, anxiety, depression, and focus improves. Okay, so that's just mental health benefits, because like I said, your gut has more neurons than your brain. There is that gut brain connection. So once your gut health improves, your brain health is, your mental health is bound to improve. Then by fifth week, inflammatory markers such as TMAO starts to fall. We usually see TMAO type of inflammatory markers among people who eat very high fat, uh, animal protein laden diets, and those markers actually they affect your gut microbiome. And because of this connection with your gut health, these and inflammatory markers starts to improve, thus reducing the inflammation. um, all chronic conditions, like I said, hypertension, blood pressure, high blood sugars like diabetes, pre-diabetes, obesity, overweight, these are all inflammatory conditions. So reducing inflammation should be our first priority. Sixth week or sooner, improved sexual health, better sleep quality. There's a lot of research on advantage of plant-based diet on sexual health. So that's another wonderful benefit of being on plant-based, especially for those who are having uh, some sexual health issues. By seventh week, skin, nail, hair start to improve. I have patients whose hair have come back, and I'm not joking. And I wasn't even looking, we weren't even looking for that effect. The goal was just to get them feeling better. And they just started saying that, skin has, the skin looks, the skin has more glow, and their nails are not breaking as much, and small amount of hair starts to come back. And that is because your gut is now absorbing all the nutrients. Two things are happening: your body is getting the nutrients that it needs, because whole food plant-based diet is high in nutrients, and secondly, it is absorbing it correctly. By eighth week, we have hormone starts to balance out. Those who are menstruating, they have less menstrual cramps. Women usually start getting their periods regularly. The symptoms of polycystic ovary syndrome or endometriosis start to improve. And by 1 year mark, you have arteries and veins which start to unclog. And of course, then there is improved blood glucose, blood pressure, mental health, heart health, so on and so forth. So you can see how rapidly you build these rewards, how rapid these rewards are, how quickly your body starts to uh, respond. So benefits of whole food plant based. Why does it happen? I mean, what is it? Is there a what's what is a magic nutrient here? Well, it's not one magic nutrient. Nutrient density of plants cannot be underestimated. Plants are high in protein. They have low glycemic carbs. Source of fiber. We tend to spend so much emphasis on, oh, how much fat and protein and carbohydrate we are getting, but one nutrient we always forget to track, and that is fiber. Even if you keep a goal of, hey, you know what, I am going to eat 40 to 50%, 40 to 50 grams of fiber per day, believe me, things will start to improve, because just by default, just to reach to that point, you will be eating more plant-based. So contains no fat or very minimal amount of unsaturated fat. It contains iron, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, amazing amount of minerals. It contains vitamins, all water and fat soluble vitamins, contains numerous polyphenols, numerous antioxidants and micronutrients. So that's what makes the whole food plant-based a magic pill. So how do we transition? Small steps. These are the core, what do you call it, food choices, or like a core of whole food plant-based diet, which is grains, but not just eating white rice or your run-of-the-mill um, cream of wheat, anything like that, but intact grains like millet and barley and quinoa and wild rice and cracked wheat, buckwheat, right? Then you have your seeds like flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds. So let's say you eat pasta very often. If you start replacing the pasta with maybe lentil pasta, I will talk about lentil pasta later, or if you start sprinkling maybe couple tablespoons of quinoa or wild rice mm, on your salad, or if you start making a side dish of these grains and some seeds, add some nuts like Brazil nuts, almonds, walnuts, pine nuts, peanuts, start sprinkling some cooked lentils or beans, peas, tofu, edamame, tempeh. Tempeh is just another form of soybean or tofu. It's fermented tofu. But I mean, having a bowl of soup, either lentil soup or chickpea soup or minestrone soup, is the easiest thing to get started when you are transitioning to plant based, because we all like soups, and there are wonderful soup recipes from your grandmother, mother, sister, father, your family member or friend. And having a soup is something that you make it in bulk, and it's easy, it's portable, and you can just and it's a good vehicle, I feel, to sneak in a lot of good vegetables and plant proteins. So plant proteins are basically, like I'm saying, lentils, beans, peas, tofu, edamame. Then all kinds of vegetables, all colors. If you feel that every time you are buying the same type of vegetables, let's say, or spinach or kale or carrots or sugar snap peas or broccoli, then it's and some peppers, then it's time for you to go out of your comfort zone and start looking at vegetables that are purple in color or white in color. For example, you can look for red cabbage, you can look for Swiss chard, you can look for mushrooms, you can look for turnips. So pay more attention in the produce section. And just I'm noticing in last few couple years there's more and more emphasis um, on eating more fruits and vegetables, and I'm noticing that the grocery stores are carrying more variety now than they used to, especially if you go to fruit section, right? Now you see papaya, you will see jackfruit, you will see lychee, you will see mangoes, you will see dragon fruit. I mean, a few years ago, I had never seen these in the regular grocery store. So just like everything else in life, have open mind and look for this variety of fruits and vegetables that probably exist in your grocery store. Oh my God, spices. I can talk about spices all day long because they are the key. And spices don't necessarily need to add heat. We are talking about using spices for flavor. Okay, not all the spices are spicy. A lot of spices like cinnamon or bay leaf or allspice or fennel, they are flavorful additions, not necessarily spicy. So make sure that your cabinet has some good herbs and spices. Uh, Go plant forward before you go plant based. Okay, substitute plants for animal products. Um, Add mushrooms or cooked lentils. Mm, Add it to the burgers, meatloafs, pizzas. Start slowly, one meal at a time. Start with meatless Monday or taco Tuesday, wrap it Wednesday, take out Thursday. Like, take out Thursday would be your Asian stir fry. You can just make that at home. Meatless Monday, you can skip meat once a week. Meatless Monday has been a very long tradition across the country, and a lot of people, you know, or it's an easy day to remember and do it, like Meatless Monday. So you can have veggie burgers on Friday, TGI Burger Night, where you can have veggie burgers, or Taco Tuesday, you can have bean tacos. Rapid Wednesday, you can make a wrap. Like today, for my dinner, I knew it was going to be busy, so I had sprouted grain tortilla and some hummus. I roasted some vegetables this afternoon, and I had a veggie burger, and I used the sprouted grain tortilla for a wrap, and that was it. You can start by switching your breakfast to overnight oats or avocado toast. You can start by incorporating lentil soup, beans on salad, etc. Again, I want to remind you that make sure that you text us your name and email to 630-686-7300 so that I can send you these handouts, okay, for the recipe on how to transition to plant-based and 7 ways to enjoy plant protein. Okay, so it's all good, but where do we start? Plan, plan, plan. Without planning, we become impulsive eaters. Without planning, we don't know, we feel lost. You know, I couldn't have made that wrap that I just told you about if I had not planned for it. Okay. If I had not thought about it, if I had not had stuff in me, like what am I going to do? I just finished work at 6:30 and this program was starting at 7 o'clock. I couldn't go and run to the store and get started. Then these are the situations where you tend to either order out, or you stop by somewhere and get something from outside, or you become impulsive eater, and I could have just snacked on wrong things because I was hungry, and probably eaten the wrong stuff. But I had my plan, I had thought about it. So meal planning is extremely important for any diet, and more so for plant-based diet, because you want to make sure that you are getting all different nutrients and all different groups. So make a list of your some most common family recipes that you use. Maybe it's a meatloaf recipe, or it's a soup recipe, it's a wrap recipe, burger recipe, but at least have some plan that every day what you are going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks, and then focus on making sure that your grocery list contains nutrient dense food versus processed plant-based food. This is very important, and I'll be talking about it later, but make sure that you're focusing on nutrient dense foods and not just processed plant-based chips and cookies and the artificial burgers and stuff like that. Flavor up using herbs and spices, vinegars, citrus juices to add flavor. March forward. Relapses are normal. Okay. If you slip, don't beat yourself up. Okay. Because it's all about getting back on the wagon. We all fall off the wagon, right? 4th of July just happened. Almost most patients that I had phone calls with or correspondence with today, they all had some trouble in some form and shape, because we are surrounded by a lot of food, and many times the choices are not the best. So don't beat yourself up. It's all about, if you have a relapse, move on, get back to your planned meal the next meal. Don't give up and say, oh, you know what, I ate burger over the weekend and I had this and that, and now I'm going to start my diet after next long weekend or in the fall or what have you. No, you start again the next meal, and that is very important, because for two things. First of all, when you eat better, you're going to feel better. All right. And it is going to help you gain that confidence that, hey, you know what, I could have a slip off, but I'm capable of getting back on track. And once you get back on track, you stay in that in that zone, or you get into the rhythm of things. Okay. A lot of people complain to me that they have a lot of digestive distress like gas, bloating, when they go on plant based. Why is that? That is because your system is not used to handling so much fiber. And many people feel they shouldn't go on plant based because they have a lot of gas and bloating. My recommendation would be you add powdered probiotics and digestive enzymes, because digestive enzymes are going to help you digest all the fiber and the extra roughage that you are going to get from eating more plants. Sometimes I recommend patients that if they're having too much of distress, or if they have any kind of digestive health issues like Crohn's or IBS, then do not eat raw vegetables. Go with everything cooked, and that way you are reducing the distress. But over a period of time, your symptoms will improve. Gas, bloating will go down, but that takes some time because your body is getting used to it. It's almost like you are replanting a forest, a microbiome forest in your gut. You are replenishing, or you are rebuilding your microbiome, your gut bacteria, those colonies, and that's going to take a little bit of time. So it's very simple. My meal plate planner, nourishing made simple. You know, half of your plate, if you could make it vegetables, they can be steamed. I'm not saying make them kind of blah or boring. You can make your vegetables, you can roast them with herbs and spices and vinegars. If you're afraid to use spices, use herbs. I mean, rosemary and basil and sage, tarragon. These are very simple yet very flavorful herbs. And if you start roasting your vegetables with it, like half of your plate needs to be vegetables, and then 1/4 of the plate can be beans, lentils once in a while. If you're going to eat some meat, then stay away from the red meat, and you can add some chicken or turkey or fish. But again, we are going to aim to have more plant-based proteins. So maybe this is how your plate needs to look in terms of protein on it when you are having a meatless meal. Make sure you have healthy carbs like wild rice and brown rice. Along with that, healthy drinks, green tea or coffee or coconut water, sparkling water instead of soda and stuff. Snacks can be nut mixes, seed mixes, pumpkin seed, sunflower seed, sesame seeds, chia seeds. Even if you start sprinkling some chia in water, you know that's a step in right direction. Even if you start eating lightly salted nuts, sunflower or pumpkin instead of bag of chips, or some french fries or onion rings, or I don't know, turkey bacon and all that, bacon bits, those type of highly processed high salt snacks, it's going to be a really good transition. Along with food, we have to take care of some physical activity, fitness here. To get into some daily mindful activities, walk for 10 minutes, or do deep breathing, or do stretches, sleep on time, have positive thoughts, drink water, plan your meal, plan your snacks. These are all the examples of mindful activity. We need mindfulness to execute everything in life, and food is such an integral part of who we are and how we feel. But we pay the least amount of time planning our meals. I mean, people spend um, enough time in getting ready, or putting their makeup on, or getting right shirt and suit and whatever, shoes and socks and purses and this and that together. But we don't spend as much time in figuring it out. Hey, what kind of food I'm going to eat today, when I'm going to eat it today, how I'm going to eat it. These are very crucial questions, and this is all part of that mindfulness. So making sure that you indulge in some mindful activities. um, how to transition to sustaining plant-based lifestyle going forward, go skinny, which means like avoid added oils in cooking. So use broth instead. Avoid added sugars, but you can use maybe honey or agave or molasses, maple syrup to sweeten your salad dressings or um, your food instead of adding raw white sugar. Um, one thing I want to mention about added oils is that if you are stir frying something, use broth instead of oils. Hydration. Focus on water, really. Tea, water, or fruit infused water is perfect. Snack on olives, unsweetened dry fruit, roasted chickpeas, dark chocolate, something simple, doesn't have to be highly processed or highly seasoned. Eat this. Like I said previously, these are your choices of plant proteins: seeds and lentils and tofu and edamame and nut butters, soy milk, what else? Peas. And then when it comes to carbohydrate, your fruits are part of your carbohydrates. I would stay away from banana, apple, grapes because they are not as nutritionally dense as your berries or kiwis or oranges or papaya or peaches and plums. So I would rather go after foods which are more nutrient density. That's going to give you more for your effort. So focus on adding variety of different fruits. But again, under carbohydrates, we have intact grains like we talked about, millets and wild rice and whole wheat pita. Even something as simple as baked sweet potato can be a good snack or a side dish to your salad or your soup. But again, don't put marshmallows and brown sugar and slab of butter on your sweet potato, but just a nicely roasted sweet potato, boiled sweet potato, maybe with some pie spice or cinnamon or even some paprika would be a perfect dish to have. Vegetables, like I said, all different colors of vegetable. Purple vegetables are good for your brain. White vegetables are good for our heart. Green vegetables, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, turnip greens. Greens and beans are good for our bones. So people say, oh, if you go on plant-based, you are missing on calcium. Research indicates that we absorb more calcium from the plant-based sources than we absorb from dairy. Okay, and in the plant kingdom, beans and lentils have the highest amount of calcium, and the plant-based diet is also high in phosphorus and potassium. So in order for good bone health, we need potassium and we need phosphorus and we need calcium. So it's again, this is a perfect pill, almost a magic pill. Don't eat this. Jello, fried chicken, ramen noodles, sweet yogurts, ranch dressings, pudding, fish sticks, vegan processed food. A lot of people go and start eating plant-based, but then they go after processed plant-based foods like all those Beyond Burger. Uh, the somebody just said that there is a chicken from one of the fast food chicken uh, chain. All those are highly processed, highly seasoned, and do not offer the real benefits or do not offer the vitamins and minerals and protein and carbs that we talked about in earlier slides. These things are just going to be just a substitute, but we are not looking to swap one bad stuff with another just look alike. We are looking to substitute a low calorie diet with more caloric low nutrient dense diet with high nutrient dense foods. It's the nutrient density of food that helps us keep healthy. Okay, you have to make choice between these two, which is a better option. If I have just to give you an example, if you have to choose between candy bar and banana. I would go with banana. If you have to choose between banana and peach, I would go with peach. Okay, because there is a hierarchy of nutrient dense foods. So you guys can do the same thing. And in the beginning, maybe it will be difficult for you to completely let go of this food. So transition out, stop buying, don't have chips and big bags of chips or drinks or cookies in the house. Once out of sight, out of mind. If you have it around you and if you say, oh, I'm just going to have it once in a while, it's going to be very difficult. If it is there, you will go and eat it. So not buying is number one. That would be one way, I would say, to stop eating this. um, so on a similar note, I wanted to quickly touch on dairy. You know, why we shouldn't eat dairy on, or why the dairy is included, cheese is included in this list, is because dairy, there are a couple things about dairy. The dairy has a protein called casomorphin, which affects, which has a similar effect on our brain as any other morphine, okay, like opioids. And that's why it is very addictive. Dairy is very addictive, and it makes us difficult not to eat it because it has that casomorphin. It has the morphine type of effect on our brain. And secondly, dairy affects our thyroid gland, okay, lowering our metabolism and causing another havoc in the system. So these are some of the reasons as to why we need to stay away from animal based products as much as we can. I understand not everybody will be 100% plant based, but the goal here is to at least educate you guys about the pros and cons of eating whole food plant based and how to start. Like I said, even one meal per week, and then that to get started, and then turning that into second 2 or 3 or 4 times, and then after a while, once you start feeling better, your brain will start associating certain foods as rewards and certain foods almost as punishment. If you are feeling sick after eating a burger, and if you feel good after eating, let's say a veggie burger or roasted vegetables or more balanced meals, then if you keep reminding your brain, or if you start becoming mindful and start making a note of, hey, you know what, after I eat a more plant-based, I just feel good. And after I eat pizza or burgers or barbecue or steak, I just feel heavy. I feel my stomach is not where it needs to be. I feel tired. I have a lot of acid reflux. Then over a period of time, your brain will start associating the negative side effects or your body pain or your symptoms with that food. And once your brain starts to make that connection, then we are tuned to look for reward. Brain doesn't say, hey, go and get punished. So it starts to make that association, which food is good for you and which food is not a good choice for you. It takes time, but it's a slow process, and it's worth starting. Like we said in the beginning, the rapid rewards, how quickly you start collecting your uh, rapid points is just amazing. It can start within a few hours, in a day, and in 1 year, one and a half year, I've seen people almost get new body, when they follow through. So I hope you guys will start by changing one thing in your diet, and let me know if you have any questions. You can always send me questions after this by texting us to 630-686-7300 or deepa@dupagedietitians.com. You can also send me a question which I will answer on my podcast, Ask Nutritionist Deepa. So there are a bunch of different ways you can get hold of me. But I am opening up the floor for questions.
Okay, thank you so much for all that great information, Deepa. There are a couple of questions already in the Q&A, and I'll just remind people here that if you have any questions, please go ahead and open those up. That if you look along the bottom edge of your Zoom window, there's a Q&A icon there that will just open up that window for you. Again, I think you mostly answered this question, but thoughts about those different possibly more processed, like Beyond Burgers, and why we should be avoiding those. They are seem like an easy way to get into plant-based foods, but you're saying perhaps not the way to go.
Correct. And let me grab my show and tell thing, which is right here. So our regular burger, the regular fast food burger has this much fat in it. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it, almost like I think 30 grams of fat. Okay, and Beyond Burger has 22. And what has happened is people had learned to not eat fast food burger often, and now they feel that, oh, Beyond Burger, it's a it's a plant-based burger, it must be good for me. So now they are going and eating 3 times a week. So the total consumption of fat, instead of 30 per week, has gone down to 60 per week or 65 per week. So there is a perception that that is better for us. Yeah, it is better for us to some degree, but it's going to get us in trouble if we continue on that path. And in terms of sodium, it's no better either.
Okay. All right, thank you. Someone else is asking, are there health concerns with soy?
So again, when we get into processed soy products, like soy chicken nuggets and soy patty and those type of things, anything that is highly processed with soy is a no-no because of the processing. Secondly, soy products need to be organic. Soy is one of those crops which are genetically modified. 99% of the soy which is grown in United States and everywhere else in the world is GMO. And we don't want to eat something which is GMO. GMO means genetically modified organism. So you want to find a soy product that says non-GMO and as much as you can organic. But if you stick to unsweetened soy milk, edamame, all kinds of tofu like soft tofu, firm tofu, tempeh, what else? Organic miso, which is fermented soy, we are going to be fine.
Okay, thank you. Someone else is asking how many plants or perhaps what percentage of vegetarian or plant-based foods do we need to eat in order to start seeing all of those health benefits that you were talking about?
I would say if you get rid of the red meat and dairy and then stick to chicken, turkey, maybe 3 times, 4 times a week, and more plant-based with lot of vegetables and some beans and lentils and seeds, you will start to see that difference.
Okay, great. Someone else is dealing with a lot of acid reflux. and any ideas about how to eat tomato products or onions, peppers, things like that without getting acid reflux. They're having a lot of problems with that.
Many times the root cause of acid reflux is poor digestive system. And many times the poor digestive system is because of the dairy and meat consumption. So getting to the root cause of acid reflux is number one, identify what's in your diet. Secondly, with severe acid reflux, you need to make sure that you are eating cooked vegetables, and don't start with onions and tomatoes, which are your your usual suspects, but maybe start with some spinach and some milder vegetables like cooked carrots and butternut squash and those things. And instead of flavoring with onion and garlic, maybe start flavoring with herbs like rosemary and sage, because they are also calming to your digestive system. And start taking digestive enzymes.
Okay.
Because acid reflux actually is a symptom of low acid in your system. When we don't have enough and right amount and right type of acid reflux starts.
Okay, thank you. Someone else is dealing with diabetes and they're wondering, are there any special items that they should watch out for? Because even though some of these foods have more fiber, the carbs are high.
Correct. That's why you want to go with whole food plant-based, which is very high in fiber. And I will tell you that in the beginning, your numbers would be high, but as your insulin resistance starts to come down within 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, if your stress is under control, if you have more energy, and if you're walking more, and consuming whole food plant-based diet, which also needs to be low in fat. If you have a nice piece of, let's say, a like a homemade rye bread, but if you dip it or bathe it in olive oil, it's going to be a killer. So whole food plant-based diet, high in fiber, low or no in fat, is the key to get your blood sugars under control.
Okay, thank you. Someone else is asking about concerns regarding, I may not be saying this right, oxalic, OXALIC acid in raw greens.
Oxalic acid,
Like
oxalates.
maybe
Okay.
like Swiss chard and kale might be high in those, and they wondering if there are any concerns about that.
Yeah, but if you're drinking plenty of water, and nobody eats truckload of these vegetables, 1 or 2 cups every other day is not going to hurt. Plus, many times oxalates can be removed, or you can reduce the oxalate by steaming that particular vegetable so that it drains in the water.
Okay, great. Someone asks, what's the best wheat pasta alternative?
I would say, instead of going for a wheat pasta, go for lentil pasta. I'll show you one. It's right here. I'm surrounded by food packages and stuff because whole day long that's what I teach people about. So this is a lentil pasta. It's a wellness pasta line. This has extra extracts of vegetables in it, and thus it gives you 20 other nutrients. But this is a lentil pasta. Similar lentil pastas this one is available on Amazon, but lentil pasta is a really good substitute for a wheat pasta, and has more protein, more nutrients. And Aldi has it, Trader Joe's has it, Meyer has it. So just look for lentil pasta instead of wheat pasta.
Mm-hmm. And could someone also substitute like those noodles that are
Like
from like
zucchini noodles.
zucchini or
Yes.
cauliflower rice or something like that?
Absolutely. I saw the sweet potato and beet noodles the other day, and then the zucchini noodles, of course. Uh, so
Right, right.
definitely.
Great. Someone else asks, do you have any favorite recipe books, maybe go-tos when you're doing that meal planning?
I don't, because there are just so many recipes out there. It's very difficult to pick one over the other. So what I do is I know my parameter. I'm looking for a dish which has more vegetables, beans, lentils, flavor, and then any recipe I can remove the oil, right? That's easy to do. So I just, based on what I know, what I need to eat, I just modify the recipes and I just try to extract the flavor or the concept from the recipes which are out there on the website. I mean on the internet. But
Mhm.
fork over knives, you will find a lot of plant-based recipes. There is a newsletter called the Beet, Beet. They also have some pretty good recipes.
Okay, great, great. Thank you. Uh, I know, like, I wasn't raised with a lot of lentils. How would you suggest adding some of those to our diet?
Easy would be lentil soup. uh, Dig into your grandma's recipe book or something. I'm sure she made lentil soup. Every grandma made lentil soup. So a simple thing would be lentil soup, or cooking the lentils al dente, like not too mushy, and start sprinkling them on your salad is another one. Um, I just did a Facebook Live last week where we showed how to cook lentil dal. Dal is a Indian lentil soup, which is very flavorful, and that is made with red lentils or yellow lentils, which really cook in 20 minutes. It's a very nice, creamy type of soup. So you know that's another way to do it.
Mhm. Great, great. And you also mentioned how important spices are. And
Yes.
I'm wondering if we're sitting in front of just like plain wild rice or some basic roasted vegetables, what would you put on those perhaps before the cooking that would add to the flavor?
Okay, that's a very good question. Especially when you're cooking grains or even beans, I always combine water, like half water and half broth, when I'm cooking my grains and my beans and lentils, because that broth adds another layer, more depth of flavor. you know and then depending on what else I'm going to eat with that wild rice, so if you can start with something simple like bay leaf, or basil, rosemary, if you're going more Italian style. If you're going more Mexican style, then you can just add some cumin and oregano. If you're going Indian style and don't know where to start, when in doubt, use curry powder. you know uh, that's kind of a simple thing to do. Or just stirring in maybe a tablespoon of coconut milk gives another layer of flavor. So start something simple. You don't need to go and get 5 zillion spices from the store, and then you don't know where to start. Just get like two or three. I would get like pre-made blends, like Italian blend or Mexican. And now if you go to Trader Joe's or even Aldi, they have all these blends without added salt.
Great. Yeah, great advice. Great advice. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll uh, leave just one more minute or two here in case anybody has a last minute question, but I will remind us that this program has been recorded, and so it will be available on the library's YouTube page in just about a week if you would like to watch it again, or if you'd like to recommend it to a friend. All of these links that you see on the screen here will be sent to you in a follow-up email tonight so that you can get more information and contact Deepa. Uh, if you are watching the recording of this program and would like to receive those links, please email me at ce@wheatonlibrary.org. That's CE for community engagement at wheatonlibrary.org. Okay, I don't see any additional questions, so I think you've answered all of our questions for now, Dee, but thank you so much for all that you've done to put this together. I know it takes a lot of work to put these programs together, and you did it on practically no dinner as well. So thank you for your time and effort to do that. And so with that, I think we will say thank you to all of our attendees, and take care, everyone.